So to start drawing my mouth, I am going to draw a horizontal and vertical line. Okay, that horizontal line is going to act as the center point where the top and bottom lips meet. Again, you can choose to draw a closed mouth, an open mouth that has teeth showing. If you want to draw a mouth from like a 3/4 or side angle, that is fine as well. Okay, your lips can be more feminine, more masculine. It's totally up to you. So you're going to start by very lightly putting in the basic shape of your top and bottom lip. Okay, draw nice and lightly. Okay, and we're going to slowly but surely build up these values. So this is a very, very rough start so far, but for what we're doing, this is the perfect way to begin. Okay. You don't need to worry about having an ebony pencil to shade. You can absolutely just use a regular number 2 pencil if you like. Okay, you can still achieve those dark and light values through the use of a regular pencil. Okay, you want to make sure that center line isn't perfectly straight across. Okay, there is going to be some curvature to it. So based on the reference image you choose, these curvatures of these different lines are going to be adjusted. But for now, I'm going to leave my center line like that. I'm going to slowly adjust this. These are some very, very full lips. My reference image is definitely from a lipstick ad where the model has very, very full lips. Okay. So you're going to want to build up your values slowly. I want to see darks, mediums, and light values. So we're going to see some highlights where the shine of the lip is. All right. You can start by putting your dark values in very, very lightly, and we're going to slowly but surely build up these tones. Okay, we don't really want to see many lines. At this point, we're going to really just see lots of values, and that's where we're going to then build up these different values, and we will kind of have the implication of lines, especially with the texture of the lip. So make sure you continuously look at your reference image. Okay, look at where those lights, where those darks are, and you're going to shade accordingly. You want to keep your lines nice and close, just like we did with colored pencil. The closer your lines are when you're shading, the smoother this is going to be when we blend it. Okay, to blend your different values together, you can use your finger, you can use a tissue. Okay, just make sure that you wrap your finger in the tissue like this so you have more control. And you're going to work in those small little circular motions and blend those different values throughout your drawing. Okay, but you want to make sure that you have control with your blending. Okay, again, you can just use your finger. You do not need to use a tissue, but it's up to you. Okay, as I'm doing this, I'm going to redefine that center line. Okay, there should be a variety of values throughout here. I do not want to see just gray lips. There should be, again, light values for your highlights, medium values, and very, very dark values throughout here as well. They're all going to be blended together. I'm going to go back in and blend again. Make sure you have an eraser handy. You will need it to kind of erase some of those bright highlights in certain places on the lips. And these values are not going to be exactly what you have in your drawing. It all depends on that reference image that you choose. So you can see I'm leaving some parts just the white of the paper. Those are where my highlights are based on my reference image. And I will go back in again with my eraser and make some of those bright highlights even brighter. Okay, I'm darkening up some of my dark values again. You want to make sure you have very distinct values throughout here. Shouldn't all just be one gray smudge. The Cupid's bow may be more distinct. Again, it all depends on which reference image you choose. I'm going to clean up my edges where some of my blending may have gone outside of the lip outline. Okay, I'm going to go back in with my eraser, and you're going to see some texture on the lips that you can add by pulling values away with the eraser and then going back in again with your pencil and redefining them with a very kind of light to medium value. We should definitely see some really bright highlights throughout your drawing. Okay, I'm going to go back in. I'm going to redefine some of these just slightly. It's going to be all about the details at this point. Your drawing does not need to be gigantic, but you don't want to start this drawing out super small. It's going to make it much more difficult to add all of these details in. So right now my drawing is about 4 inches wide, and that's a good starting place for this drawing. It's going to allow you enough space to add detail, but it's not so big that the drawing is going to take you hours and hours to complete. When we're working with value, like in this drawing and the other facial features you're going to be doing, you are never technically done. You can always go back in and add more and more value. So if you start this drawing on day 1 and come back to it day 2, that's a really good way to look at it with a fresh set of eyes and see where you need to go back in and add more dark values and take away some of those bright highlights. Okay, but you're never technically done with value. You can always go back in and add more and more. You do not need to worry about drawing anything around the mouth at this point. You don't need to draw part of a nose. You don't need to draw the jawline or the chin. Right now, we're just focusing on the singular facial feature of the lips. We don't want to see a lot of harsh lines. I'm going to blend some of them so they're a little bit softer. All right, and there's my finished lips.